What's going on, moving meals?
What's up?
All right. This is not Alex, first of all. This is
Not
our
Alex.
good buddy Carson.
Oh,
Alex is away for a bit and was not able to see the Star Trek movie that just came out, but Carson and I were able to.
Yes,
and
sir.
we are going to give you guys a spoiler review on Star Trek Beyond. Now,
lots of spoilers.
yes, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back and watch our video. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then welcome aboard, because we're going to spoil the heck out of this.
You have
probably.
been warned.
All right, Carson,
Alright.
you know how this works. We start with the positives, then we go on to our negatives, and then we conclude our thoughts and give it a score out of 10. And
Okay.
along the way, we'll be eating crackers and drinking water because we are that cool.
That
So,
cool.
man, do you want to take it away for
Sure.
us? All right, he's taking a swig. Let's do
You
it.
said positives first, right?
Yes.
Positives first. All the new characters, all the returning characters, all the new characters. There was a lot more character depth in this one. I liked the new character. I forget what her name was. Jayla, the very
Yeah,
white.
we'll call her
pale.
We'll call her JJ.
Call her JJ.
Spoilers is not going well.
Just her name.
Yeah, well,
That's not a spoiler.
no. It's,
You could go on IMDb and find that crap.
well, now you just spoiled that for us. Thanks, man. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Not a spoiler. Anyways, so all the new characters, really great character development in this one. We learned a lot more about what these characters are going through. We spent a lot more time, learning more about them with less action, more dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I like what they did with the plot. Kind of separated the characters into different groups a little bit, just to see how they interacted with each other. I won't go into specifically what the groups are, but there was one specific pairing that I liked more than the other.
Yeah.
That was, just for, comedic.
Comedic
It was,
relief,
yeah,
for
it was
sure.
really, really funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the villain. I'm kind of mixed feeling. That's kind of on both positive and negative on that. I haven't really decided
Okay.
how I feel about that yet.
Okay.
But action was really good. I loved all the Enterprise, all the spaceship scenes. The space fights are really good in this one. I'm always down for a good space fight. Like the action, and those are my positives for that movie.
All right, great. I'll start off with the characters too. The characters in this movie are much more fleshed out, and that's what I enjoyed. I also enjoyed the fact that the characters were able to really work together as a team. It felt like that they knew each other very well. It felt like that they were on the same page with each other, comparing the first two movies, because the first two movies really were a lot of setup for these characters for this new trilogy of movies, I guess. There might be a fourth one, I can't really remember now, but there was a lot more setup for these characters in the first two, and then we finally got to see how well they work together as a team, and I really enjoyed that. Also, what you were saying, characters like Kirk and Spock, they were getting fleshed out a lot more. Even Scotty and many other characters have been able to get their characters to shine a little more, which is what I really like, because I want to see these supporting characters really
Yeah.
break out into their own.
Absolutely.
And what were you saying about the spaceship scenes and some of the fight scenes? I agree with you. They were shot very well. There was never really a moment where I could see green screen and all, or even feel like it was on the green screen and all. Everything was shot very well. The CGI looked very well done. And I will have to say that the writing is one of the perks of this movie for sure.
Absolutely.
Simon Pegg, and I feel bad I'm spacing on the other writer's name, but he and the other guy did such a well done job with this. The writing for the humor was funny. The story was pretty good. Maybe a little cliche for some people, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. And it was very well executed film. And I think this movie was especially fun to watch, and it was a good theater experience for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as far as the cliche writing, there's been so many different
Well,
Star Trek
not
movies.
necessarily the cliche writing. I shouldn't say that. It's more of like the cliche story, like point A, point B, point
Yeah,
C. You
yeah.
could probably see that in many other movies. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah,
Continue
no,
though.
definitely. Like, with all the Star Trek movies they've done, like all this TV series movies, there's only so many different things they can do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a big, I'm not really into the older Star Trek movies just because I'm a snob like that. I'm not really into the old movies, but I like the new ones.
Yeah.
I would hope that this would that would please some of the fans of the older ones along with the new ones. I feel like it was I don't know. I feel like it was a little different from the first two new ones. Of the newest three, it was a little different.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard about the old ones, it sounds like it's a little more like them. So maybe.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, some
Which
of the
is
older.
cool.
Yes,
Which is
yeah,
cool to have that.
absolutely. I think it's really good for
Pays
Simon
homage
Pegg.
to the originals, but at the same time
Yeah.
still has his own twist for this new series that we have.
Definitely, and I think
Yeah.
I think they found that balance. And I'm excited. I'm assuming there's going to be a couple more because I think that Enterprise is on like a 5-year mission or something like that. And
Yeah,
this is
they
the third
still are.
one.
They're still on their mission, so there's lots
So
of
maybe
stuff
there'll
that
be
they can
two
do.
more movies. Yeah, and I think they're heading in a really good direction. I like where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Did I like this movie better than the first two? I didn't like it better than the second one. I don't think. I really liked Into Darkness. That was a really good one. It's a close tie though. I mean,
Close
it's
race
yeah,
for sure,
close
yeah.
race for sure. So now we're doing So I'll kind of roll the negatives really quick.
Yeah, let's enter right here.
I had one. No, I forgot. Obviously, it wasn't that negative if I can't remember what
villain.
it was. What's that?
Villain.
The villain, that's right. So, without trying not to go into any spoilers, the villains.
It's a spoiler
yeah.
review. Take it away.
I thought we said. Oh, that's right. We did say spoiler review. So, the Crawl, the villain, played by Idris Elba, who's fantastic.
Oh,
by the way, really. Oh, yeah,
obviously.
duh.
Yeah.
Anyways, his story was pretty like in the first two parts of the movie. If it's like splitting into three parts, the first two
Two
thirds
acts.
of the movie, yeah, the first 2 acts were his villain wasn't very. It was kind of bland. Like there, his story was pretty good, and then I was kind of interested, and then the third act hit, and you found out more about him, and it was like. That's all. Like you started to get really invested in this villain towards the end of the movie, which I thought was really good. And yeah, like I said, Idris Elba was great, but the first 2/3 of the movie, and especially the first third of the movie, just kind of dragged as a whole, not just the villain. It took a while to get going, for me, anyways. But other than that, I really liked it. Just so the first part of the movie dragged. The villain's storyline was a little slow over the first 2 acts, and final act was really good. So
Yeah,
that was maybe my
final act
only
was
real
very
negatives.
fun.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'll agree with you for the most part on the villain. Idris Elba did a very good job. I mean, he's a great actor. We've seen that throughout this year alone. He's been in great stuff. He's killed it in almost every movie that he's been in. My problem was it was more or less the fact that it was kind of hard to depict really what his strategy was or what his motives were. And when you find out in the third act, it's not necessarily a letdown. Like, it's interesting, but I feel like it should have been rearranged a little more so that way it was introduced some at the beginning, so that way you can get more intense with this character for the most part. I think that if you switch when you find out his motives, if it was switched in the beginning some, then it would have made his character even more better throughout the film. So that was mostly for the one weakness, I think, for this villain anyway. Other than that, I thought Idris Elba
plot
was...
twist kind of at the end there.
Yeah, I think it should have been more in the beginning, so that way the character could elevate even more instead of having to hide behind this layer. Because I think it would have helped audiences latch onto this character, to this villain, a little bit more.
So as a spoiler review, maybe if they'd have thrown like in the first scene, show that original ship crashing, maybe, or something like that. Kind of just like because you kind of have a hint of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
And while I enjoyed the fighting choreography in this movie, I didn't enjoy the way it was shot per se. I felt like it was a lot of it felt confusing to me, the way the fighting scenes were shot. Like I said, choreographed for the fight scenes were all good. I really enjoyed them a lot. But the way that they were shot, I felt jarring and confusing, and I kind of wish it had a little bit more of a flow to it. That way, you can see how awesome that these fight motions really work. So I thought that was one of the great parts of the movie.
Yeah.
But because of the
couldn't
filming,
really tell where you were in the
exactly,
fight,
which was very disappointing to me as well.
No, yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. It was a little disorienting, but I mean, it wasn't,
Yeah, exactly.
it wasn't too bad.
But for the most part, that was really the negatives that I had throughout this movie. This movie was pretty good for me overall.
Oh yeah,
don't
it
you
was.
think?
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I think it beats the first of the new Star Treks by a little bit. Doesn't quite top the second one for me. I really like that movie. Benedict Cumberbatch and bringing Khan back as a villain, it was really awesome. If you haven't seen those movies, watch them.
Yeah.
Before you watch
guys.
this one, definitely.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, let's wrap it up then.
All right, let's do it.
Give your conclusions, your score out of 10. Let's hear it.
Great movie, not perfect. Not my favorite of the new ones, like I said a million times already. I'm going to give this one a I'm gonna give it an 8.0, right at 8.
All right.
It's pretty good. I think I would probably give Into Darkness like an 8.5. So like I said, it's
Yeah.
pretty close.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
neck
eight-
and neck for sure.
8.0 for this one
Mhm.
for me.
Star Trek Beyond, I will go a little higher than you. I'll give it an 8.5. Like I said, like you said, great movie. Not perfect.
Yep.
Not all movies are, but that's all right. But the movie was fun to me. I thought that they did a well job figuring out how to use these characters throughout the movie.
Yeah, really
I
good.
thought it was shot very well. I wish that the villain could have been handled a little bit better, but it wasn't enough to the point where it really drops my score all that much. So I think 8.5 is a good rating for this movie.
All right.
All right, guys, so there you have it. There's our review for Star Trek Beyond. Carson, thank you for joining me.
Anytime,
this was
man.
Awesome. Nice.
Anytime.
All right, guys, like the video, subscribe to us. We'll try and keep the content coming over to you guys as quickly as we can. We're always busy, but we're always trying to do it for you guys. And as always, thank you, Mrs. Weaver, for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Bye, guys.